Oh my goodness, I didn't see yous there. Welcome to me cozy retelling of the Grand Seduction film from Sociology and Media, Trio 2 perspective. If you haven't yet read me paper, what are you doing here? Go back, because I'm going to tell you one thing, and it's not another. One thing and not another is a phrase used by one of the characters in the film. And if you couldn't tell, I was trying to recreate the tone, the style of dress, and just the overall feel of the movie The Grand Seduction for you. So actually, welcome. My name is Carmen, and the film takes place in like a fishing community harbor in Newfoundland and Labrador. And although it's filmed in the 2010s and takes place in the 2010s, it doesn't feel like the 2010s. It has a vintage, cozy feel in everybody's dress and in their homes. Like, it kind of feels like grandma's house. But without further ado, I'm going to put you down and tell you exactly what this film is about. Okay, so the film takes place in the small harbor town of Ticklehead, once known to be prosperous for fishing, bringing a sense of purpose and community. However, since the fishing industry's decline, the town residents have struggled to find other sources of income, resorting to collecting welfare checks. The mayor informs Murray, the main character, that of a petrochemical company's proposal for a factory within the town, which would create jobs. However, this company requires a local doctor, and recruitment efforts have not been successful for the past 8 years. Inevitably, the townspeople, including the mayor and Murray's wife, are forced to find work in St. John's. Meanwhile, plastic surgeon Dr. Paul Lewis is returning home when the security officer in St. John's discovers cocaine in his baggage. A bargain is struck between Dr. Lewis and the agent, the previous Ticklehead mayor, leading Dr. Lewis to commit to spending a month as interim town doctor if his cocaine possession is overlooked, which incentivizes Murray to seduce Dr. Lewis into a permanent contract. As such, Murray convinces the townspeople to participate in a ruse to make the town more attractive and suitable to the doctor's lifestyle. And with that, now that you know what we're talking about, I focused on 4 overarching course themes in my accompanied paper. Let's start with technology. I found in relation to technology, social constructionism was relevant in the film for shaping the development of new technology for their town, but that was in the form of a petrochemical plant. And that involved social forces of like economic pressures, such as needing jobs, and legal hoops such as securing a loan for the bribe for the company to choose their town instead of another town. And the entire town takes part in the plant's development via their ruse, and in the end, the entire town works at the plant using the technology. Some examples of their ruse towards the doctor was, because you're probably wondering what I'm talking about, was leaving money in the same spot in town so that he'd feel lucky, but they would increase the amount every time. And like, it got really funny when they got to $20. So I'll just say that because like, who finds a $20 bill, right? Another example was the doctor's favorite sport, which was cricket. And so the town created an informal field and made cricket uniforms from their white clothes and pretended to play when the doctor arrived. But, you know, it didn't really look established. The clothes were, you know, kind of tattered, and they were playing on the edge of a cliff. So something smelled fishy for sure. But my favorite part was when the town needed a certain number of people to run the plant, as stipulated by the company. And when the executives visited the town to scope it out, the town knew they didn't have enough people, so they all ran around behind the executives' back to get to the next venue, so the executives wouldn't see, which then they would be in disbelief. They couldn't believe how many people were there. And so the camera would pan to people running out the back door of one building and then into the next building before the executives got there. And that was just so funny because they would go from the bar to the church to the community center, and like it was great. Very funny. Next, I guess, is industry. So, as we know, media companies often look to star actors as a means to generate success. And I felt that casting Taylor Kitsch, known for starring in the hit sports series Friday Night Lights, and I think he's currently in The Terminal List. That's this guy here, Dr. Paul Lewis. And another star they have in this film is Brendan Gleeson, who plays Murray, the main character. You probably recognize Brendan Gleeson as Professor Moody from Harry Potter. So two very established, well-known actors, which helps to, draw people's attention if they don't know what the film is about. Then they're attracted to the actors they do know. That incentivizes them. Although my entire family is a fan of Taylor Kitsch, his performance in the film is so authentic. He portrays his character development from valuing city life and his esteemed and successful career as a plastic surgeon to valuing the close-knit community in the harbor and the slower-paced lifestyle. And the pride it brought him to be a general physician, seeing the impact he made for the town, who hadn't had medical services for over a decade. At first, he doesn't want to be there, but his excitement for the job and fondness towards the townspeople shows as he's disappointed when he has no patience for the day, or when they tell him that another doctor has filled the position, which is part of the ruse. And when he finds out that the ruse and everything they've been doing is false, it actually hurts his feelings. And I felt that he articulated the range of emotions through navigating the circumstances of the movie. It was just so believable, and his part was really a captivating part of the film. On to the next. In terms of content, I focused on ideological values, and the underlying message of the film was the good old days. So reflecting on a simpler, more honest time when work, family, and community camaraderie, that meant everything. And everything you needed was within the vicinity in your own backyard, and people enjoyed a more patient, slower paced life. So Murray, he's trying to get back to that because the town atmosphere is stagnant, and he feels the petrochemical plant will bring back purpose and something in common for the community. I feel this ties directly with my next section on audience, which encompasses how media interpretation is influenced by various factors like age, upbringing, occupation, if you're a parent, if you're married, and where you live, and also who analyzes a piece of media. That affects the interpretation too, as the ideological take on media is often simultaneously criticized by some and commended by others. So personally, I can relate to this, as for family movie night years ago, we rented this at home when I was a preteen, and I remember feeling so bored. I was really, I couldn't relate to the nostalgia Murray felt for the past, for the small town living. I couldn't relate to the humor. Nothing. It didn't hit home for me. Last year, though, I noticed this movie on Prime Video, and I asked my family to rewatch it since none of us really remembered it. And this time around, oh my goodness, I couldn't stop laughing. So, and I also felt really touched by the town's relationships and their endeavors. There were moments throughout the film, this time though, that felt new. And I know I didn't pay attention or understand the depth of the scenario at a young age. So examples in terms of what I gained the second time around was Murray was actually motivated to get the petrochemical plant, to get his wife back to the harbor, who she was working in St. John's and living there as well. So that was his motivation. And also the bank manager. The bank manager was fed up with being told that he was no more than an ATM and would soon be replaced by one. So he then questionably secured a loan for the town that was previously refused, and told Murray and his inner circle that things would be fine if they just collectively paid it off for, $500 a month for 20 years. And I didn't really take into account the courage that it would take to go against the hierarchy of the bank, and knowing that he would be fired because of it. my parents always loved and related to this film, but for me, it took time. It took wisdom and experience that I've gained over my lifetime to really appreciate every part of this film. And I can honestly say now that it's one of my favorites, and it's really very sentimental. I hope you've enjoyed my condensed retelling of the film because I'm already over time. And I hope that it inspires you to take time to watch in the future. So if I have sparked your interest, it can be found, as I said, on Amazon Prime Video. And otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and I wish you all the best. I wish you good luck in your finals, in your final assignments for the end of the term. And happy holidays, everybody. I've come, my dear, for to take